Morning, Mr. Yu.
This video was recorded on the 8th of May in 2024, and the gaming community just got the news from Microsoft that Arkane Studios, its Austin branch, which I think is important to remember, has been closed down. And Couchcube, and the closures are not technically what this video is about. This is more of a celebration of some of Arkane's back catalogue, and this precedes the Dishonored and Dishonored 2 video just put out, and of course I'm going to go to Deathloop next. Arkane Austin gave us Redfall, which is like an open world vampire slaying game that's online, and it's really against a lot of the traditions that Arkane put into their game model, and I think they were forced by maybe Bethesda, maybe Microsoft, we don't know. It didn't do very well, and unfortunately that particular location has been closed down as a studio, but the French and other main satellite offices are still going, and those are the guys that gave us some of the incredible back catalogue material that we've been talking about these last few weeks, i.e. Dishonored, Dishonored 2, and of course Prey.
Mr. Yu, please make yourself comfortable and we'll be on our way.
In the back catalogue, and I have spoken about Prey before, but never on a standalone video, was in a previous sci-fi list I put together, but I want to talk about the confusion because it came out in 2006, 360, knew nothing about this, just remember seeing that title card. It was also a 2002 Michael Crichton book. It's the guy that wrote Jurassic Park, and the description of the story is all about nanobots and science going too far, so not a huge leap, the whole thing's very confusing.
Talos 1 becomes fully operational, representing a monument.
Why is Prey a good Arcane game? Well, it's got all of the traits that make the studio quite renowned. Excellent exploration mechanics, brilliant loot system and inventory, just really easy to understand systems with stealth, enemy AI, and of course they traditionally use this first person view, which also increases intensity. Most of their games are about creeping around and killing people, but this one has got this amazing sci-fi injection. The world built is flawless. And it doesn't really stop there with a very intriguing story and use of really cool technology with gaming, like some fresh ideas with that scope and how all of the elements work, the foam gun. It was very ahead of its time when it came out, I feel. And you've got this goddamn nightmare fuel mimics which pretend to be inanimate objects. It's amazing. It does have a whiff of Bioshock. It has a whiff of all of the greats. This is even the Dead Space anti-grav scenes, flawlessly connects you to different levels, and exploring that station, getting your suit upgrades, and the relationship you've got going on with your brother is just so intriguing. It sort of wins two battles for me. It sits at the top of my personal favourite Arcane pile, and also in the top echelons of good sci-fi games that are available on 8th and 9th generation systems. Incidentally, 60 frames per second, 1080 on high settings on PC is the place to play this game. 2017, the game still visually completely rocks your world. It is so intricate. Every panel, every computer, all of the detail in the rubble and stuff, debris lying around is just got attention to it. You can tell you're playing something that's got a lot of love injected in. I think some credit needs to be paid to the station itself, the decor, the way it feels lived in, and the occupants, all of the scientists wandering around in their horrific forms. And the actual scare factor to this game is pretty through the roof. It really surprised me, not only how much sci-fi depth it goes into, but also how well constructed the scary stuff is. Notice me quick save there. It's like a massive emphasis on physics and in-game objects, being able to move things, being able to plug gaps or climb things because of your goo gun, or reach in specific areas that are hidden because you didn't have the strength previously to pull a box out of the way. It's quite incredible on inanimate object front. That's its kind of sell, is that you can jump into objects, move them around to a certain extent to kind of fit through a gap or hide from an enemy. We saw this in Dishonored with being able to possess the rats or certain human beings, but it's definitely taken to a next level with Praise. Weird, because I've just played Star Wars, the Skywalker saga, and that's exactly the same thing with the Jedi mind power. This is not the droids. This is not the armchair you are looking for. Playing Deathloop at the moment is making me realise how different games are that studio puts out now. Changes are already afoot with a lot of the features in that game. It's very different to going back to some of their original titles. I would say that Prey and Dishonored 1 are some of the strongest material they've ever come out with, but I'm pretty sure everyone's got their own sort of Arcane favourite. Who's this loitering in the lavatories? It's Crispin Boyer, scaring the absolute crap out of me. Something needs to be said for its ridiculously good RPG system, with the suit upgrades and the scope and the inventions that you come across throughout the game that directly change how the model plays out. It's also got a time slowdown that you can switch in, and it's upgradable or full on max pain. Everything just goes at a snail's pace. You can start pinpointing headshots. It helps you deal with a lot of the chaotic enemy situations, which is what this game's about. You're not really supposed to go hip firing into these things. You've got to spot enemies, sneak around them, save your ammunition more importantly. There is that survival angle to it. The tension is palpable, and you wouldn't be incorrect in comparing some of these scenes with games like Alien Isolation. This all comes together because of its amazing soundtrack, the excellent wandering enemy AI, and some of the effects and material that comes off of the fights. Doesn't shy away from wanting you to use close quarters and conserve ammunition by using explosives that are in and around the station, or even throwing gas canisters. So there's so much going on during the combat that you really do feel can go either way all the time. Also, good versus evil, trying to scan and identify stuff all the time, so that's dovetailed into a lot of the combat mechanics. I think a lot of my subscribers will have enjoyed, or will enjoy, that narrative between the two brothers. It's perfectly pitched and put in the right sections of the game. I was very interested to see how the story culminated. It also has a Truman Show-like intro, which I think everybody has already seen, is kind of infamous on the gaming sector. It's a great introduction to an incredible game and catches everybody who's not seen it off guard. No spoilers.
Take a good look. Everything happening on Talos 1 started here. You were so driven in the beginning. My mistake was agreeing to put you at the center of the tests.
I think the reset button may have been hit at Arcane Studios, what with the closures and maybe a refocus on what they're really good at. I think the Redfall issue would have been a lesson learned for them, and I see no reason why a return to this format wouldn't make them loads of money. Let's just talk about that format very quickly. You've got no notifications coming in from randoms. You're not walking down a corridor and suddenly a flash comes up that you're on a weekly event. Also, that time slowdown mechanic wouldn't be able to be enjoyed as much if this game was sat online. You can't meddle around with that sort of thing if other people are within your lobby. This is a true single player game. I think in these turbulent times, the things that made studios great need to be remembered, refined, and probably revisited, because we're sailing down a road that just leads towards games that need to be permanent online service models, and that can and can't work. I just cannot see another studio like Arkane Austin go, because they were forced into putting something permanently on the internet, a little bit like the Anthem situation and BioWare. Also, back to me really quickly, a lot of my content, particularly the single player focus, has really been displaying weak numbers of late, and things have changed with YouTube this year. I would love some support, a sub, a like, a comment, anything. I will see you down there. I have been Couch Coop.